Okay, good morning. I know, as discussed, we talked about dealing with the tight shoulders you've had for a couple weeks, and I myself am dealing with it after I go through some workouts. So let me just whip up a couple accessory warm-ups that you should probably do. If not, you're warming up. What I suggest is just doing them once a day. So what I've been doing is I do some accessory work, which I guess if you wanted to email me back and you had questions about those, I've been doing it create more scapular activation. But this is more for mobility. So I'd say maybe like 30 minutes to an hour after you're working out, and you're getting hydrated and you're resting. It's probably ideal to be able to do these. And try to recognize some improvement. So what I would suggest is what I do with a lot of people is test yourself and then retest after you're done and see if you got any results. So testing, pretty simple. You want to try keeping your neck as straight as possible. You want to try to take one arm and reach the fingers onto the opposite shoulder blade on the top. So I'll show you on both. And I'm noticing my left is definitely a little bit more restricted, just in how I feel the motion. And then what you want to also try to do is go up and under, keeping the shoulder blade as flat as possible on the spine or on the rib cage. You want to try to touch the opposite shoulder blade with the back of the hand. And once again, my left arm, definitely a little bit more strain in doing so. Ultimately, you should be able to touch fingertips, if not grip. But that was a little forced, but I can naturally get fingertips there, and a little bit harder for me to get that right side, and then that left side is tight. So this is definitely something that I want to go back in after I'm done and recheck. Okay, so what I'd suggest is the following. We're going to start off with some mobility, and then we'll focus on some work with some compression, rolling, whether it's a ball or a roller, whichever you prefer. So I do 2 rounds of all of this, and let's just dive in. The first one I would do, arm up like you're holding a tray. Fingers are pointed towards the head, and the motion you're going to do is you're simply going to reach your hand up using your arm or your shoulder to go and try to touch your ear. Now, to make this a little bit more challenging, you want to bend your head to the side as you're coming up. So notice that my hand's carrying along. I'm not pushing my head, but it just looks like that, but I'm just doing both simultaneously. Same thing on this side. And what I'd suggest, 15 repetitions, and once again, every exercise we're doing is 2 rounds. So I'll just put that also in the text of the email. So that's the first one. Second one, we're going to do a bit of a lunge twist with the purpose of chest opening. So this is also a great one for the hips. So this is all around. I like being efficient and lazy with my routine. So this kind of covers a lot of things. It also helps to open up the front end adductors, the hip joint itself, and then the back end hip flexors. It's also a great challenge for lumbar flexibility, and then it also opens the chest. So a fantastic thing to do in general. Kind of looks like a yoga move, but we're going to apply more towards an athletic standpoint. So this is just repetitions, and what I do, lunge forward, palm down with the same, and you're going to try to reach up as far as possible, really trying to get that hand extended beyond the head as you're looking upwards, palm flat down on the ground as you come up. Now, I like doing this in repetitions, like I said, so anywhere from 5 to 15, depending on your tolerance. So usually starting off with like 2 rounds of 5 to 10 is good. So I'll show you with the opposite leg, and I'll just go full speed with this one. So leg in front, twist up. I got some nice audibles there in my lumbar spine, just getting loose this morning. And if I could have a video before, a couple weeks ago, when I was really out of shape, I was getting doing these. I was probably getting about here, so I can tell you, doing these help a lot combined with some other things. So it's also a great tester to see where your mobility's at. So once again, what I'm trying to do is really get a big opening into this chest as I rotate it upwards. And there's another one on that side. All right, so 5 to 10 reps. You can go all the way up to 15, 2 rounds. Then we could go into what I call a sleeper stretch. You can perform this whether it's against a wall or on the floor. I'm going to show you on the floor just because I have room for it. So laying on your side, what you're going to do, you're going to try to get your chest and your shoulder as packed down as possible on this arm. So my body is as packed and straight as I possibly can get it. My arm's going to go out directly, so it's like perpendicular with my body, and I'm forming almost like a right angle with my arm and my shoulder. So what I'm going to do from here, I'm going to let my left arm just fall. And it's going to just hit a point where it feels resistance. Right here you should almost feel a comfortable stretch already. Taking it from there, you want to do a little overpressure with that opposite arm that's free. And do a pull that's comfortable, but you know, you're challenging that joint as you're doing it. So this one, a pillow for the head if your neck's bothered up, is good. But I also like to work, once again, efficiency. I'm trying to work on the stability of my neck, so I'm trying to hold that in position as well. 15 seconds for this one. And you can do 2 rounds, 2 sets per round, so 30 seconds total. You want to do, and once again, we're doing 2 rounds of all this stuff. I'll just show you on the opposite side. Arm up. Let it fall down naturally. Overpressure with the other arm. My chest and my shoulders are as packed as possible. And I want to feel that pull on the back of my shoulder more than anything. You might feel it slightly on the front, but you mostly want to feel it more on the back. Okay. So, from there, what we can do is dig into some rolling. So there's 3 big points that I've been hitting. Some focus through here. Okay. So you want to find that that shoulder joint itself, drop a little bit below it, and then go inwards. So we're working on the anterior capsule of the shoulder and also the beginning fibers or the attachment of the pec, the insertion. So here, and I'm going to show you some strategies for that. Working on the teres lat complex, so we're working through here, and then we're working on the one of the major rotator cuff muscles, the infraspinatus, the one that tends to get the most restricted. So let's work on those. So for the pec, for all 3 of these, what I do is I spend about a minute on each shoulder. I do about a minute and a half on each shoulder, 2 rounds. So I'll do 30 seconds on each point. And what I'm going to do is the following. So for the pec, I like to get my arm rotated behind my back. So just like this. Then what I'm going to do, whether against the wall or the floor, you're going to get that contact point. You're going to look for that sore insertion spot right about there, and just do some rolling. And what I like to do is I like to transition my elbow upwards, so I'm pushing my hand down into my back and I'm rotating the elbow up, if you can see that on the video, as I'm kind of going across towards the middle of my chest. So do this for about 30 seconds. Yeah, it's going to be annoying. And then we'll do the other side. So again, elbow up as I'm going in towards my chest. I want to just look for some goodies, so I'm digging around and trying to look for some spots that feel not so great. And I'll work through those. Good. And we'll get to the teres lat complex. So that's that little fold of that cobra head looking muscle just under your shoulder. So you want to look for the very ridge of it, the top ridge. It'll probably already feel slightly tender to the touch. So of course what we're going to do is dig that ball into it. From here, what you can do, compress down, and you want to kind of slide your elbow inwards. And from there, you can also go to reach up, and you rotate your arm upwards like you're catching a ball. So starting here, and then rotating my arm up and catching that ball. And what I'm doing is I'm just kind of sliding my body. Now as you get used to that, what you can do is start to get your hand up towards your head, almost like you're doing a bicep curl. So that's a couple strategies I like to do. So reaching out and catching, reaching out behind the head and twisting. And then the last point, well, let me hit that one just to see if we get a little bit of improvement on my range of motion before we stop. So I'm finding that point just above that little ridge, just under the shoulder, a little on the back end. Oh, that's nice. So about 30 seconds on all these points. And then the last point, you're going to go behind the shoulder. You're going to find that nice bony ridge. You're going to go a little under it. And you're just going to look for a point. It should be about 1 inch down from the inward part of your shoulder blade, or they call it the medial border. So look for that border on the inside. Go about 1 inch in and 1 inch down from the bony part on the top. You'll find a really nice tender spot, the muscle belly of a particular muscle. So you're going to hold your arm out about a 90-degree angle. You're going to try to rotate it down as you have that point compressed on your back. That should feel lovely. So do that for roughly 30 seconds, or combine that with some straight lifting of the shoulder. And as you're doing that, you're turning your thumb down as you come in. Let's try to get that on the other side. So, inward border of the shoulder blade, top bony border, about 1 inch in on each, to find a nice little sweet spot. Once again, I'm doing that 90-degree angle, turning my hand down, so I'm compressing, and then coming up and compressing. Trying to get a little more compression each time, and then coming across, bringing my thumb down. Alright, so that should do it for now. Suggest doing this every day, like I said. Probably most helpful for you right now after you work out, just to try to get some longer lasting mobility. Suggest 30 minutes to an hour afterwards. So let's, like I said, you want to test it when you first start, and then you want to go retest. So we're talking about ease of motion. So that left side already feels easier to do. So you're looking for ease of motion, and you're also looking to see if you've increased your range. And for me, these all feel easier. And on the ultimate test, we'll go to do the finger touches. So that's easier on that side. It was already easy to do. And then this side, I'm definitely getting more range upwards. Definitely hitting the fingers a lot easier than I was before. So already I was able to get more mobility. Any questions, just give me a shout, and hopefully this helps.